I do broadcast live, so
Huh?
it's a private YouTube channel, but that's the
Okay.
easiest way to record it. So that way, I'll give you a link to it when it's
Okay.
okay. I got to turn it off because it's on a time delay. Got it. And I'm going to share screen with you just for a minute. Did you get a chance to look at or pull your own gene
Yeah.
keys? Okay.
Mhm.
I just want to make sure that the it's not astrology, but what it does is it looks at where everything in the universe was at the time you were born.
Mhm.
So it's sort of astrology times 10.
Right. Okay.
So your birth date was February 25th, 1985
Mhm.
at 2000 hours, which is
8:02
right. Okay.
p.m. Mhm.
What's the interesting thing I want you to look at, see where the IQ and EQ are? I will,
Mm, let's see if
they're
I
right.
can. Okay, IQ and then EQ. Okay, yes, I see it.
Okay. You have the 51st gene key there.
Mhm.
We are currently in the transit of the 51st gene key right now.
Mhm.
It happens to be my culture, so that's why I'm kind of aware of it. It's
Okay.
moving from agitation to the highest level, which is awakening.
Mhm.
Okay.
And
Well,
what
first,
does? Okay, go ahead.
we'll
Sorry.
get into that. Let me stop the screen share. Well, the other piece that I want to show you is, mm, hold on a sec. Oh, I closed it. But after each one of the gene keys, there's a point and there's a number.
Right. Mhm.
You understand what that is?
No, that's what I was going to ask you. What does the point three mean?
Okay. Do you know anything about the I Ching or I Ching, as people call it?
No, never
Okay.
heard of it.
I'll give you the brief and easy explanation. If you
Okay.
take three coins and you drop them, you're going to get heads, 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 or heads, tails, heads, or tails,
Mhm.
tails, heads. There's a total of six possibilities. That's what those line numbers are.
Okay.
Now, if you take the I Ching, that's called a trigram. So that could be the lower or upper trigram. And if you do that again, um, you'll get one of those six possibilities.
Okay.
But the combination of both of them together is 64 possibilities. And what the Chinese figured out some 6,000 years ago was that all of life situations could be put into one of these 64.
Mhm.
And it was a way to govern society.
Okay.
Ironically, us as humans are made up of DNA. Guess how many points of DNA there are?
Um.
64.
Um, oh. Okay. Yeah.
Musical composition is made up of 64. It's
Mhm.
a universal,
You, number.
yeah, way of understanding things.
Yeah. Mhm.
So,
So what does that mean for me?
well, each one of your one of 64, which are these numbers,
Mhm.
has a point.
Mhm.
I'm going to explain the points,
Okay.
and each one of those points affect the 64. But
Okay.
trying to give you all of that in one session would be like trying to eat an elephant in 10 minutes. It's not going to happen. So this is
I
This is
understand.
this is breaking it down to a simple point that is poignant and gives you a lot of
Mhm.
insight.
Okay.
And if you're intrigued, then you go on and learn more bite by bite.
Mm-hmm.
Now, do you have any understanding of human design? Is the next.
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So you understand what a generator is and what
Yeah.
authority is?
I understand that I'm a generator. That's
Yes.
about all I know. And you sent me, I think, a 2-4.
Yeah.
And
Well, that's what. Oh, I have a background on, so crap. Sorry about that. The first 2 points in your life's work and evolution are a point two. The second ones, which are your radiance and your purpose, are a point four.
mm-hmm.
So that's where human design gets the 2-4.
Mm-hmm.
Um, do you understand what emotional authority is?
No, not really. I mean, I understand the words, but I don't
Right.
understand what it means for that
Well, we're
particular.
we're sort of trained in life that we make decisions by thinking about things.
Mm-hmm.
We make checklists, pros, cons, etc. Well, you, like myself, and about 48% of the population, that's not how we're supposed to make decisions.
Mm-hmm.
We're supposed to make decisions by how something feels,
Mm-hmm.
not by what our brain tells us.
Mm-hmm.
So you know when something doesn't feel right.
Yeah.
You know when something feels icky.
Mm-hmm.
That's a no. That means
Yeah. If it doesn't feel right, it's not right, right?
right.
That's what I try
And
to tell myself.
the other thing with emotional authorities, we don't know instantly.
Yeah, that is a pain. 'Cause I'm
Yes, it
always
is.
kind of like, am I doing the right thing? Or
People
it's always
go,
a question in my
yeah,
head.
people will ask me, do you want to go to lunch? And I'm like, let me
Right.
feel into that just a little bit.
Right. Give
Let's
me,
see how I
ask
feel
me
about
when you're
that.
about to walk out the door because it might change.
Right. And people hate that I can't make decisions when they want me to.
Mm-hmm.
I'll have to sleep on that and see how I feel about it. I may need a week. I may,
Definitely.
it's not right now. And people get
Mm-hmm.
very frustrated with that. But once
That,
you practice that and people around you get used to it,
mm-hmm.
it becomes a little bit easier.
Yeah. That's what I'm trying to do and just ask people to give me a minute, give me time to think about it until it
Not
with
think
and
about it. Give me time to feel about it. When you
okay,
express it that way,
okay. Because usually I'll just be like, I'll say yes, and then my feelings will change and I won't end up doing it. Or so yeah, I
well,
understand
just
that.
just be glad you don't have splenic authority. Splenic authority people get to know instantly right now, and if they don't pay attention to their body and what they feel, they'll feel a surge, yes or no, and
Mm-hmm.
then it's gone.
Mm,
Um, and it may change in 5 minutes. You
mm,
ask them the same question. It's a gut, not quite a gut reaction because that's sacral,
mm-hmm.
which most of the rest of the world is.
Mm-hmm.
But there are there's all different types of authorities. All right, that's enough human design.
Okay.
I'm a gene keys guide, so we'll go there.
Okay.
Now, in life's work, I also intentionally take all of the gene keys out so that I don't cheat and link because I kind of know what some most of them are.
Mm-hmm.
So you are in what human design calls a hermit,
Mm-hmm.
and in the gene keys they call them the dancer. A second line is a dancer, and they're very friendly, and they need to deal with movement.
Mhm.
So dance for you can be anything from just allowing yourself to move, um, and
Definitely.
following what their natural gifts are. And I'm going to tell you what they are. In life's work, your gift is equality. The one thing that's important for the line two is that they absolutely need to spend time alone.
Mhm. Definitely. My house is my sanctuary. And I deal with that a lot because people want me to come out. I will come out sometime, but I like to be alone.
Hmm. That's the whole hermit piece. What's interesting is you're a 2-4. They're almost contradictory energies
Yeah.
because the 4 is the networker and needs to have people around them. But there's
Hmm.
an aspect of you that's the hermit and wants to go, get away from me, leave me alone. So it's,
It's like if we're in the house together, I'm fine if you're in the other room.
yeah,
Just leave me
I know a lot of 2-4s, and they all have that aspect to them. I respect
alone.
when they, it may be 6 months till I hear from them, but when we connect, it's
It's awesome, right?
okay.
That's exactly how I am. I'm like, I try to explain that to my siblings and my friends, and like, I just sometimes need time to think, and then I'll come back to you. Is this nothing against you? I just need to have space and time. I can't talk on the phone every day. I can't, just be involved with everyday activities all the time.
Mhm. And try to, in your own vocabulary, instead of saying think, say feel.
Mm-hmm.
One thing that is an aspect of the second line is they have a tendency to blame. It's not my fault. You said this and made me feel this.
Mm,
That's not true. They may have said that. You may have reacted that way, but that reaction was your choice.
mm-hmm.
You can choose to not react.
Mm-hmm.
You can choose to say nothing. You,
Definitely.
you
I
can,
am in that space right now, trying to learn that, re rewire my brain to tell myself that just because someone does something doesn't mean I have to react to it.
right.
It's my choice.
Well, it's the point of learning what self responsibility is, which is the 55th gene key, which
Okay.
happens to be my personal radiance. So it's a lesson in life I get often.
So personal radiance is the lessons that you get in life often.
Well, no, it's just my personal one.
Okay.
Yours are different.
Okay.
Evolution will generally be your biggest challenge throughout your whole life.
Just growing. So just
And
that's
your second line in evolution has to do with passion and relationships.
oh, that's why I have so many relationship problems. But I always learn a lesson, that's for sure. But they're hard ones.
Mhm. You do best when you're around people of high frequency, people
Definitely.
who people who are woke,
Mm-hmm.
and people who don't have agendas or hidden agendas. Honesty, integrity.
Definitely.
If people don't have those things, get them out of your life.
I'm learning. I'm at the peak of that learning now because I've had enough of that.
And there's not a lot of people on those levels. So
Mm-hmm.
that's where can be a problem.
I guess that's where the hermit comes in. I'll just
Mhm.
stay there until I find them.
Well, the other side of that, once you move into your radiance and your purpose, And purpose does not mean what you do for a living.
Mhm.
Purpose is what you are.
Mhm.
Does that land?
Makes sense. Mhm.
Okay. So the four is the server, and it's also called the healer.
Mhm.
Um,
Definitely makes sense of what I'm getting into.
and it's also called in human design the opportunist, which I don't like that word, but
Mhm.
networker is a better word.
Mhm.
It's like you may not know how to do something, but you know somebody whose brother's
Mhm.
friend can fix your plumbing.
Mhm.
So you bring those web of opportunities together.
Mhm.
The wound you do best and thrive when you're in community of like people,
I can
and
see that.
when you're being of heartfelt service. That's very different than just doing it because someone wants you to do it. That means it's something of your heart, of your nature that you really
Mhm.
want to
Want to do.
be of
Mhm.
service.
Mhm.
Um, the wound of the fourth line is rejection,
Yeah.
and rejection responds best to integrity, to honesty, to softness, to romance, and to love,
Mhm.
whether that's from outside of yourself or coming from within you.
Mhm. Mhm.
Some of the shadows of the fourth line can be overgiving
Definitely.
or giving for a reason and using it as manipulation.
No, no. Yeah, but I can see how that's a thin line between the two.
Right. Um, and corruption can also be a shadow of the fourth line. The strongest point of the fourth line is honesty,
Mhm.
self honesty. And you only get that through really deep self examination, looking at and knowing and feeling why and what you do and
Mhm.
why you do it,
Mhm.
not only with yourself, but with the people around you.
Mhm.
When you say you're going to do something, have the integrity, do what you say.
Mhm.
Um, they can hide behind fixed views or opinions, but as they mature, that opens to honesty and openness.
Mhm.
Can I ask how old you are? It's
37.
okay
Yep.
because you only have one sixth line in your profile, and
What does that mean?
well, a sixth line goes through three different phases. The first phase is from 1 to about 30.
Okay, yeah. Oh yeah, I think I read that some they're like 13 to 20 some years apart.
Well, what it is that a sixth line in the first part of life is actually a 3.
Mhm.
We'll go into explaining what a 3 is in a minute. The
Mhm.
second, a good explanation of what a 3 is the stove is hot. I want to experience that. I touch the stove. I burn
I
myself.
can, I can see that for me. That's how I had to be. That's how I was. I guess very rebellious as a kid.
Well, we go into childhood development in just a second. And you have two threes in your IQ and EQ. Well, let me not get ahead of myself. Purpose. The fourth line in your purpose is about breath or rhythm.
Hmm.
It's going to be very important to you.
Yeah, I do
Well,
that a lot. I use
not just
breathing.
not just because we have to breathe to live,
I know, but
but
on
breathing
purpose to
to
calm
take a
myself.
pause and to
Hmm.
calm and to and
Definitely.
in relationships, the fourth your purpose is your purpose in life, and it is also your purpose in your relationships.
Oh,
And the fourth line has a different meaning in relationships. It's about
um,
being the natural nurturer. That's a hard word to say.
yeah, the nurturer. Hmm.
Or the shadow side is the politician. The, po- the politician is, how are you? I'm fine.
Hmm.
It's not being real. It's
Yeah, that's kind of me if I don't feel like that I'm getting the same reciprocal energy. I kind of I'm standoffish and knowing that I'm not fine, but I'll say I'm fine.
right. Um, and your gift, I forgot to tell you, your gift and your radiance is determination.
Oh yeah.
And your gift in your purpose is versatility.
Hmm.
I don't go into the shadows or the highest levels because it gets to be too many words and concepts to try to
Hmm.
elephant eating.
Hmm.
Now, the next portion in the gene keys is what's called the Venus sequence.
Hmm.
What that is all about relationships. It's about how you love,
Hmm.
and it's about childhood development and what energies made you what you are.
Hmm.
Okay. So the first field after purpose is the attractor field. It's what people are drawn to about you.
Hmm.
And you have a fifth line energy. I'm a 5-1, so I'm very familiar with fifth lines.
Okay.
The five energy can be difficult, but it can also be very, um, what's a good word? Well, the two words that they use are sensuality and
Hmm.
entrapment.
Hmm.
You can be so delicious that people are attracted to that energy,
Hmm.
and it can also be used to entrap.
Hmm.
Oh, I want
Hmm.
that one. You know,
Hmm.
and your gift there is graciousness,
Hmm.
and the acidic level of that is grace.
Hmm.
There's a free course that I don't know if I gave you the link to,
Hmm.
which I know that one offhand. It's like the second most important gene key. It's the 22nd.
Hmm.
It is the um, grace.
Hmm.
So if you do have 7 days that you can do that little course in, it's free. It's all
Hmm.
about the 22nd gene key, and it's amazing.
Yeah, I would love that if you can send me over that link. I would definitely check it out.
Okay. The other thing about the fifth line is it is the savior and the fixer and the natural solution provider.
Definitely.
But
I
what
could see that.
happens is people project upon the fifth line that you have the solutions to my problems. And if you don't, then they're sort of burned at the stake.
Mhm. I can see that. I'm always helping and fixing, and people come to me with their problems, and I feel like I'm just all the time helping and fixing.
Well, that's what people are drawn to about you.
Yeah, definitely. I'm kind of the nurturer. That's why that was funny that that's in there.
Well, that's your purpose in relationships. Until you don't have the solution, then you're kind of like blackballed or thrown under the bus.
Mhm.
But that one of the things to learn is to learn that that's not about you. That's about them and their projection on you.
Mm. Mhm.
Yes, you may have solutions, but you may not.
Right. I can't. Yeah, definitely.
Now we go into the childhood development stage, and we start backwards
Mhm.
from like age 12 to 19. You
Mm.
develop your IQ. Do you
Mhm.
understand what IQ is?
Mhm.
Um, and you have a third line there, which means you have a flexible mind.
Mhm.
But the flexible mind can also be evasive. And the gift that you have is initiative. What's interesting is your EQ and IQ are both the same.
Mm.
So that means that is going to be really predominant in your life. it's a ment- it's mentally how you process things, and it's
Mhm.
emotionally how you process things. EQ
Mhm.
is emotional intelligence,
Right.
and that develops from about age 7 to 12.
Mhm.
So
And you said
there's
it's at a what number?
line 3.
Okay, line 3. Okay.
And line threes are about trial and error. It's experiential. I have to
Mhm.
touch the stove to find
Yeah.
out that it's hot and that it burns me.
Oh, that sucks. Emotionally and mentally.
Right.
It's draining sometimes.
Well, I I know what this one is, and like I said, we're currently in this transit right now on the third line,
Mhm.
which means this day
So
might be pretty intense for you.
it's very intense.
Well, the
Yeah.
shadow is agitation, being agitated by things and also emanating agitation that people are agitated by you.
Mm.
Um,
Makes sense. So how long does this cycle last?
7 days. We're in the third
Okay.
day of it.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it's always going to be a part of you because it's your IQ
Hmm.
and your EQ. It's just
Right.
probably
It's
more.
gonna just peak and then and go down sometimes.
Now, the SQ is your soul intelligence or
Hmm.
portion. And there you have a line 1. And the line 1 is about certainty, and it's about rhythms and routine. Um, the gift that you have there is inspiration. That's what you developed and learned from birth to age 7.
Hmm.
Now, the as you came into this lifetime, you brought with you your DNA from your ancestors, and there you have a fifth line.
Mm.
So the core wound is about guilt, and the healing of guilt is through forgiveness. So that's a powerful one.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the core wound is also the beginning of the last phase of the teaching, which is called the pearl.
Hmm.
And I just finished a worldwide course that was 5 months long on learning about the pearl. It's also a fifth line because the core is a fifth line. So, what you brought into this world also happens to be a part of what your gift to the world is.
Hmm.
And the fifth line under vocation is about management. And that kind of goes with, fixing things. You're the manager. Okay, you good
Hmm.
at this job, you do that. You're good at this job, you do that. And about responsibility. And responsibility is just the ability to respond.
Hmm.
So that is a part of your vocation, and your gift there is sensitivity.
Mm.
I would almost say that that's sort of like an empathy.
Yeah, definitely. Carry that very deeply. Empathy.
Now, the interesting thing about the pearl sits in, I don't know if I can get it on camera. I can't
Uh,
really with the background, but the pearl sits in the center of a triangle like this.
mm-hmm.
The triangle between up at the top is your life's work, down in this corner is your vocation and
Mm-hmm.
what you brought in from your ancestries.
Mm-hmm.
And the third part is culture.
Mm-hmm.
Now, culture can be a lot of things. It could be race, it could be just the culture of your family, it could
Mm-hmm.
be the culture in a business, it could be the culture of a nation. However, um, culture is. And
Right.
there you have your only sixth line. Now, six lines, like I said, the first part of life is actually a three.
Mm-hmm.
Then the second part of life is like, okay, the stove is hot. Maybe I shouldn't touch that.
Mm. So learning slowly by the things that I already went through.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the third part of the sixth line is when it's called being on the roof, and it's when you're age 50 and beyond.
Mm-hmm.
You sort of experienced all these things. Now you're a
Mm-hmm.
teacher.
Mm. I can see that.
You hold the vision
Mm-hmm.
of what can be and help teach those
Others,
along
yeah.
the line. Hey, don't touch that stove. It's going
Mm-hmm.
to burn you.
Right. I can definitely see that. That's what I want to get into.
And the sixth line is about systems and
Mm-hmm.
how things function. Your gift there is perseverance. You actually have to go through a lot of shit to persevere.
That sucks.
Well, that's how we learn.
Yeah.
And then
Ah,
once you really grasp those three, the pearl just sort of happens. It is what your gift to the world is. And there you
mhm,
have a line three, which is about celebration
mhm.
and the joyousness of like, okay, there's a stove. There's a lesson in that. That's wonderful. Let's celebrate, you know.
Right.
And the gift there is anticipation.
Mm.
So you know what's going to happen
What's
when
gonna
you're
happen before?
about to touch the stove.
Mm-hmm. Makes sense. Definitely.
And that's the lines.
Yeah, I was definitely. I can see all of that in
Well,
me.
it's nothing you don't
Actually,
know. It's just reminding you of what you
yeah.
already
What
know.
what I already right,
You know, you've been living this, so
right. I would definitely like to learn more about the ancestor part.
mhm. Well, it's like I tell people, there's good and bad of everything. There's shadows to each of the gene keys. There's a gift within the shadow.
Mm-hmm.
Most people want to focus like 80% of their energy on the shadow, what's wrong, what doesn't work.
Mm-mm.
10% of your focus should be on, okay, I know that's a shadow. How
Mm-hmm.
do I stay in the gift? When I'm
Right.
in the gift, how does that elevate to the city or civic
Mm.
level? You can't make that happen. It just does.
Mm-hmm. Makes
Um, Same thing with ancestry and past life stuff. I've had some um, knowledge of past life stuff, but it's like I'm in this life.
Right. Like
What happened back
I
then?
gotta focus on this one.
Yeah, I spent a whole bunch of energy studying and learning about that when I have
Right.
this life to live.
Exactly.
Same thing with
Makes sense.
ancestries. Yeah, that's why they felt guilty. Who knows? That doesn't matter. But
Mm-hmm.
understanding forgiveness, and
Mm-hmm.
mostly it's about self-forgiveness.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, definitely. I can see that because I kind of going through those
hey,
hard situations. I beat myself up a little bit. So yeah, I have to forgive myself for making those decisions.
you have third lines. You're gonna make mistakes. You're gonna fuck up. You're gonna
A lot of them.
learn learn by fire, as they call it.
I get, yeah. That's
Uh,
how I've always learned. I've known that about myself.